How's that for some water? This sucker is dumping water. I can't even get the quad down on the gravel, it's gone. And you remember that big round rock? I mean, that sucker's probably got 4 feet of water over top of it, and that thing was, we were actually walking past it in dry ground not too long ago. It's funny, you look down that back corner there, those bears usually go around the edge. I don't know what that big white thing is. It looks exactly like a polar bear with its head in the water. You almost wait for it to rear its head up with a fish in its mouth. Maybe we'll zoom in on that in the edit program once I get back and see what that is. I don't know what it is. Or a big chunk of foam that busted loose from Sprout Lake. If you Google up Sprout Lake, this is the Sprout River draining out from that lake, so who knows what it is. It might be a piece of a dock, some foam, but it looks odd. Anyway, what's the date now? 29th. I got like 2 days, maybe 3 days max left here. That's it. And to the north I go, back to my coastal mountains, interior British Columbia first. I'll spend probably 2 days there, maybe 3 max, and I'm going to set out and hike up in the mountains in all my usual spots. And I'm going to lay down about, I don't know how many trail cameras, at least 40. It's going to be a lot of hiking, but I'm going to get it done. And then as soon as I leave there, then I will drive up to the farthest north I'm probably going to go is, I don't know, I might be just shy of Pink Mountain, British Columbia. You can Google that up. And I'll probably do 10 or 12 days solo running around there. And I'm going to hook up some people up between here and there. And then I will race back to Whistler, Pemberton. And then I will finish up the last 10 to 12 days there. And then I'll come home here and carry on. And then I'm going to flip into steelhead fishing and filming underwater, do all sorts of that fun stuff. And learning more. In the meantime, just so you guys know, while we get these emails coming in, I have made some real great contacts right along this ride. I've made some great contacts who I have to have patience with, and in anticipated information they have promised to pass on to me. Unfortunate, sometimes things just come up that are so, of course, the timing is ridiculous when it comes to this topic. You know, I was notified of some clear photographs of some people I know that had them, and the man that had them died who was bringing food to them back where he used to live, and the pursuit of those photographs still goes on today, even though they should have been where they should have been, but I don't even know if they are there. I'm going to find out when I get to the mainland. Edgar, our nuclear physicist scientist, who was going to give us all of his journals and transfer them over into to the internet to get to me. Of course, now he's come down with his bone marrow and his cancer and all that grief, put a block into that information, and that's not by Edgar's fault, and I would never pressure him in a minute to give me his journals. But it's just example after example of things that are coming our way, and things come up and stop it. It's really weird. I have a new contact, another couple other few contacts, a recent new one who sound very promising, and they are people who claim to be in the know, and I mean in the know, and they have given me enough information to back up who they are. And of course there's other circumstances blocking them from passing off information to me directly right now, but it's coming, hopefully. But it is kind of funny, isn't it? How when it comes to this topic and many other ones, when the information is there, it's promised to come, and just that coincidentally something stops it. But if you quit, then you never get it at all. The key is you cannot quit, no matter what. You guys, I know a lot of you, most of you are picking up what I'm putting down when I'm sharing that statement, but that isn't true. You don't quit. And you read every single email, and you hear every single voice, and it's up to you to take from what you will or not, or leave it. And it's up to you and your gut, your instincts, to decide for yourself what you should retain or not when it comes to these emails. All right? Now, getting on with it, let's get some voices shared. So I have to get back, and I gotta get some rubber mats for my horses for the concrete floor in the barn before it starts giving them achy joints. A bunch of other things I gotta get done before I leave. Jumping way too much water to see any bears coming out behind me for sure. There's no dead fish in the shoreline. Like that should be mostly wrapped up for now. I'll find out soon, later. Now, title, Bigfoot. Well, Steve, my name is... I own a large tract of land on the Maine/Canadian border that was left to me by my father, who passed a few years ago. I grew up on that 600 acres, which is a registered tree farm that my dad selected to cut most of his life. Back when I was a teenager, he started to build 5 log cabins to be used as hunting and fishing lodges, as he was a licensed hunting and fishing guide and wanted to make some extra money. Well, once he started building, then one day he went to the northernmost part of our land to find some logs to build the cabins with, and found, by dumb luck, a Bigfoot lodge, as he called it, and actually saw a whole family of them near it. He then turned around and went back home and decided not to finish building the lodges and to leave them alone. The next day, he took us up there to see for ourselves and told us to leave them alone. All my years I lived up there, I would see them at least once a week and think nothing of it. When I couldn't see them, I would smell them. I went up there last month on a vacation to clean out some of my dad's belongings and decided to go see if the Bigfoot family is still there. Yeah, they are. If you want to check it out for yourself, I can arrange time off from work and show you myself. Respectfully yours, Luke. All right, I'm going to leave out your last name, all right? Just because there's going to be some nut bars out there who will be intent on going there, seeking you out, and harassing the living shit out of that property, if not, more than likely, trying to eliminate them or one of them, all right? So we'll leave your name out of this one. I'm not gonna lie, I've had a handful. I've had an elderly First Nations man from Washington State offered to take me into the mountains to introduce me to these beings. Last year, I believe, I've had no shortage of invites emailed to me to come and see for myself and see and meet and greet these things, or one or more of them. Do I want to? I'm on the fence. Obviously, with travel conditions right now, it's not that easy to pull something like that off. Would I meet you, Luke, and go check this out? Possibly. Let's leave it out as a possibly. Like I've said before, I've seen these beings, I've accepted it, I get it, they're there, and I am, as I said, I'm trying to gather information for my puzzle is geared up right now. I want to find out who I am. I want to find out the truth of who I am, what I should be able to do as a human being, and why I'm being misled, lied to. That's really top of my list. I want to out the dirty bastards who are all having a negative impact on all your lives and mine, and I want to hopefully try to make this a better place for everybody. That's what I'm getting to, as well as helping my fellow outdoors people regain their activity and their passion for the outdoors, and come to terms with what they saw, and introduce them to more people that have seen what they've seen via this activity right here. And I wanted to try to get as many voices heard as possible. So just so you guys know, that's my game, all right? And I was quoted by one of my new contacts a little while ago. He said that what triggered him to contact me was when I stated that I want to fight. And he said that that's what made him contact me, to potentially give me a pile of information that'll be valuable. And I'll say it again, I'm all over it. I want to fight. I want to fight the people who are suppressing our possible natural given skills. I want to fight the people who are making quality of life for all of us less. How's that for a little coffee and induced spiel? Anyways, Luke, Be safe out there. If you can send me anything privately that could possibly back up a little more of what you claim, what you know, please do. All right, because that would be a hell of a long ways to fly and travel to find out somebody's just yanking my chain, obviously, right? I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not saying you're not lying, but that's a very bold claim for anybody to pick up and take in. So if you can, send me some more information. All right. And thanks for that share, man. Be safe out there. Suddenly the CO came through the door. Someone yelled, "Attention!" He made his way through the crowd to the center of the room and stated, "You didn't see anything. None of this happened, and if I hear any chatter about tonight, you will answer to me. Do you understand?" Everyone yelled, "Yes, sir." The next morning, we were all spent from the night before. No one got any sleep, and to make things worse, in came the Black Hawks and men in suits with the base commander. They spoke to certain people, and the incident was soon put behind us. The most common thread amongst the eyewitnesses was that the Sasquatch seemed to not really care about the chaos on the road that night. It never ran or seemed to be scared. The way it stood there and stared at them, eyes glowing, is what freaked everyone out. One of my employees is First Nation Navajo. He calls the Bigfoot the Yanni. He started talking about spirits one day and what it means when a feather is in your path on the ground. What type of bird feather means something about your life? The conversation turned to the Yanni. He stated that they were evil and to be feared. They were the unclean spirit and of the dark world. He said to stay away from them at all costs. In closing, I've only told a handful of people this story, Steve. I live in the southern Rocky Mountains and rarely hike alone, just for this reason. Please accept my condolences on the passing of Mr. Macaroni. It's hard to lose such a trusted friend, and it's a shame that they are only on this earth for just a short time. I thank Scott Carpenter for sending me your way. I've been watching him for about 10 years now. I've been watching you for a while now, and I trust your non-judgmental, no bullshit approach. Be safe out there. Much respect and Godspeed, Seth. Holy shit, Seth. That was a big one. And as many people were there, that sounds like a big crew of the fellows were there. And I would almost bet the farm one or more of those fellows are watching this video, or at least this channel, today, without a doubt. And if any of you guys who were there as well, if you guys want to send in your version of it or what you saw, or you've learned since then, please do. All right, we're all on the same team here. It's not us and them when it comes to civilians and military. We're all human beings and we're all enjoying this ride together. And we should have each other's back equally. All right, no matter what anybody says. And as far as that being goes, for a lot of you people out there in the know, if you feel it may be what is referred to as a tracker, you don't know what I'm talking about, send me an email and tell me what you know, and we'll tell you what you think about that. If there's people out there who know what I'm talking about and you feel that that possibly may have been one of the, quote, trackers, end quote, let me know what you think. All right, here's a short one. Take from this what you will, all you sleuths out there. You might be interested in this. I sent you a story, named it blank blank. I'm not even gonna say what he named it. But you missed the punchline. I told you I worked in a place in New Mexico called blank blank. I'm just gonna leave that out. And I don't want to say that word here. It's a key word. If you and Dave want to know where 500 to 1,000 people go every year, look up Dulce, D-U-L-C-E, New Mexico, and Phil Schneider, and you will know where they go. Food at the end. It's real. I worked there 20 years. I hope this does not get me killed. There you go. Didn't say not to share. I shared it, as usual, right, you guys? That was a different kind of a shorty. So there you go, everyone who wants to do the sleuthing. Start rolling the wheels on that one. That was a little different, wasn't it? All right, what do we got here? And for the curious, I haven't a clue what that email, I don't know who that person is he mentioned. I haven't a clue what he's talking about. So if you guys want to look into it, give her, all right? Alright. 2 times, this is the title. Steve, I thought I emailed you about 2 years ago when I first started watching your channel. I'm not sure I sent you the right email. Alright. 2 times, this is the title. Steve, I thought I emailed you about 2 years ago when I first started watching your channel. I'm not sure I sent you the right email. Anyways, my story started around 71, 72, and I've never told anyone until I told you. I was 14 years old then, I'm 64 now, and can remember these like yesterday. Listening to your channel just brought to surface again. I thought I'd let them go, but your show brought them up again. I lived in a small town in Wisconsin and came from a family where my father was an alcoholic, like most of the families from this town. He was going into a bar, and I was across the street up a hill with a bunch of kids, and of course he saw me. I ducked down when I saw him, but he started and continued to holler at me until I finally stood up. He advised me that I better be home before he did or else. My girlfriend and I took off towards my house. We had to run as fast as we could across a bridge with railroad tracks that had the dam below it. When we were young, could run fast. When you get to the end of the railroad tracks after the bridge, it turns into forest. So we veered to the left, and I ran smack into something that I only reached its waist. My girlfriend started screaming, and when I hit it, I rolled away from it and kept going, yelling, "Run." All I saw was its stomach area, and it had white fur around it all over. I never saw its face. We ran so fast and hard, we made it to my house. When we made it to my house, all we said was, "What the hell was that?" And that was the last time we talked about it. My sister asked why I never told anyone, and I told her. No one would have believed us. Second one, I live in Central Texas now. I'd forgotten about this until I was watching your show, and it brought back a memory just like the first one. I've camped all my life and have loved fishing, etc. When I was married to my second husband, we camped a lot, because by this time in my life, I like to camp in a camper, not a tent. We camped a lot and traveled on our vacations to a lot of lakes, but this time we stayed around our home by our lake. It was about 2 or 3 in the morning when I was woke by the camper shaking. I tried to wake my husband, who was usually a light sleeper, but I could not wake him for shit. I just know I was scared shitless and would not look at the windows for nothing. I've never been so scared like this time. It was something I cannot describe other than just terror. I was crying and trying to get him to wake up, but he never did. I pulled the covers over my face and shut my eyes and told myself to not to look, and that's what I did. I don't know when it stopped. I must have fell asleep. The next morning I asked him if he remembered me trying to wake him, but he didn't hear or know anything. I've never brought it up again. The memory came back to me when I was listening to someone talk about their experience from Texas. I didn't think Texas had any because I had never heard any stories. Thank you for the vent. I'm sorry about your macaroni. I love my pets like family also. Take care and thank you for listening. One day we will all know, like you state. C. Johnson. Yes, we will. Thanks for that share. You want me to pass off this video to your sister, possibly. Maybe she has some memories or even newer experiences that she hasn't talked to you about, or anybody else that maybe she wants to. You never know. But if that's the case, you might want to share this video with her to give her encouragement, and maybe she will find something here that she needs. Okay? Thanks for that share. Appreciate it. And yes, I'm sure you know now, they are all over Texas. Anybody notice the polar bear get up back there yet? And it's a pile of water. Can't wait to steelhead fish this winter. Alright, here we go. Titled, "That's Not a Tree." Well, that sucked. It's editing up and the camera shut off for a very serious chunk of an email in. So I gotta fill in the gap right now, and then I'll go back to the river again, okay, guys? Listen to this. This is titled, "That's Not a Tree." Hello, Steve. I'm a retired federal law enforcement officer. I also did 18 years in the U.S. Army as an MP before cancer forced me out. I still work for the DOD now, so please do not use my full name. You got it. With that said, I would like to share 2 short stories. I was one of those unlucky ones who, while serving in Kansas, had the misfortune of seeing one of these creatures decide to enter the perimeter of our military base. It was passed off, sounds that I can't even describe. Guttural growling and bone-rattling roar/screams as it went over a 15-foot fence. We had more than one occurrence of this type of behavior at this base. We're always ordered to ignore it and never document anything about it. Verbal report to our chain of command, but nothing more. When I was stationed there, we had a Mosquito Wings private fresh from basic that was on duty and witnessed a display at the perimeter fence. The private freaked out and abandoned his post. The next morning, he was sent for medical evaluation. I think the kid had a mental breakdown over what he witnessed. He never returned to our unit. Anyway, not sure what they did with him. Unfortunately, that was the normal answer if Uncle Sam didn't want anyone saying anything. Poor bastard, eh? Unfortunately, that was not the normal answer if Uncle Sam didn't want anyone saying anything. I was 24 when that happened in 1994. What I saw was 8 to 9 feet tall, black with some gray around his face and on his chest. It would make these terrible noises and look straight into the CCTV cameras, then charge the fence. If nothing happened after 2 or 3 times, it would charge and go right over the fence without any effort at all. If a mobile unit appeared when it was screaming and roaring, it would throw rocks or smaller trees at the fence, or sometimes go over the fence towards the vehicle. About the only time I ever saw it leave without making a big show was once a helicopter buzzed the area with a spotlight and that thing hightailed it back into the trees and didn't return. That's interesting. So a big bright light from the sky makes them feel the way they make us feel. That's an interesting point, right? Note that. Okay, so the second story was about 2018 or 19 in Kansas, south of I-70, about 30 miles from Lake Milford. I was working late and had about a 40-minute drive home on rural county roads, some paved and some gravel. The area has rolling limestone cliffs and lots of dense trees, pastures, and hay fields. It was about 10:30 p.m. on a winter evening, cold but no snow on the ground. I came around a curve on this 2-lane county road that had only a few feet on each side before the trees started. No ditches to mention. Here comes the car. Well, that was kind. People usually just come and slam themselves right up next to me, and they just asked me how much longer I'd be, and I told them 15 minutes, said they'd come back later on. How kind is that? Okay, where were we? The trees were on the sides of hills going up at about a 40-45 degree slope on both sides. As I got to the middle of this curve, I saw what I thought was a tree extremely close to the left side of the road. I had time enough for the thought to enter my mind, that's a big tall stump. No branches, weird. About then the eyes became visible, and I kid you not, I thought I was going to have heart failure. The intensity of fear and sheer terror that gripped me I never felt before, even in combat. As I looked at those eyes, I drifted over towards it, unintentionally, and as I passed it, if it had reached out, it could have touched me. My side mirror on my 3/4 ton 4x4 truck barely missed hitting the bottom of its chin area. I'm not sure that it didn't lean backwards to avoid it. I immediately swerved back to my lane and looked into both my side mirror and rear view mirror, but couldn't see it at all. I have nightmares of that drive home regularly. Now I understand I'm a veteran with 6 deployments between Iraq and Afghanistan, and I was in some shitstorms over there, and I can tell you nothing in my life has ever affected me like that drive home. To this day, I will not drive that road after dark, and I've had that creepy feeling of being watched at my farm numerous times since that night. I have 2 cattle dogs, and I won't go outside without them close to me now. I always carry a gun on me and have a rifle or shotgun in my truck. But honestly, don't think it would matter if this being decided to have at a human. It's game over. I've heard you say that they outclass us, and man, you are ever right about that. They have some kind of an ability to instill emotions in a person at a glance. Anyway, that's my stories. Take them or leave them. I just really appreciate having somewhere to voice them, since I'm sure nobody around here would ever acknowledge what these things are or that they even exist. God bless you, brother, and may you keep safe out there. Thank you for what you're doing. Amen. And right back at you. You be safe. And thank you for sharing that information with everybody through me, man. You gotta wonder, for all the military personnel that see these things on bases, on maneuvers, and when they get the talking to, keep your mouth shut or else. I wonder what it must be like to be in that group of men days or even weeks after the fact, as you're working alongside each other and too scared to talk about it. I wonder how their previous training has manipulated their minds into being absolutely scared of the authority over top of them, their commanders, as opposed to just talking to their brother beside them at nighttime in camp or whatever, right? I mean, how effective is that threat? Does everybody just shut right up and pretend it didn't happen every single day while in the military with that same group of people? It'd be interesting to know that, how effective the manipulation of the human mind is from the chain of command, right? I know I wouldn't keep my mouth shut. Oh, I picture that I wouldn't be able to keep my mouth shut about it. If me and 30 or 40 of my brothers in arms seen one of these damn things, and an hour later we're told to shut up, am I gonna stay shut up? Can't picture it, I can't see it. And as far as the instilling that fear and terror into our soul, that's where I am. I'm interested in that portion of these experiences myself right now. I'm trying to figure out if our given skills that are absolutely connected to our soul are possibly being triggered once we come upon the swapping eye looks with one of these things. Is it our initial original skills being ignited and it scares us to our core, which are supposed to? Maybe that's how our souls work. We are supposed to feel that alarm when confronting one of these beings, possibly, right? And it might not be them intentionally doing it to us. I'm really starting to wonder about that part of it myself. But anyway, thank you so much for sharing that, man. And I will wonder how many men like you and who are alongside you are possibly listening to all these people come forward today through here and other places as well, right? I wonder how many. I'll bet there's a lot. Bet there's a lot. Every week, every day, somebody finally cracks and decides they need to share it and get it off their chest. Every single day. I guarantee you, we haven't heard from every one of those people out there who are harboring some sort of upside down, some sort of experience that turned their lives upside down. And they're trying to get up the guts to share it. And it sure is cool to see that this is working. And this is getting to people and giving them confidence. It's a good thing.